High school sports, where the student athletes of today are forged into men and women of tomorrow. Join our Chippewa Valley Big Reds and Dakota Cougars on their journey towards building their skills and identities, learning to endure through struggles and setbacks, discovering the camaraderie of working together as a team, and feeling the unparalleled rush of achieving greatness on the field. Welcome to CVC Sports.
Hello and welcome to Dakota High School for tonight's MHSAA Week 5 game between your Dakota Cougars and the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. I'm Brad Fetters from Chippewa Valley Cable Television with your pregame show. It is the 39th all-time meeting between the Cougars and the Big Reds, with Dakota holding the all-time edge in the series, 23 wins to 15. The teams are once again competing for the Superintendent's Trophy as part of the greatest rivalry in the Macomb Area Conference. Chippewa Valley won both head-to-head matchups last year, including a 28-17 win in the regular season and a 17-7 victory in the district championship game. Prior to those two losses, Dakota had won the previous 4 games against their rivals from Chippewa Valley. Last week, the Cougars beat Sterling Heights Stevenson 24-9. It moved Dakota's MAC Red record to 2-0, which is good enough for a first-place tie with Eisenhower. The Cougars also improved their overall record to a perfect 4-0 for the 3rd consecutive season. As for tonight's opponent, Chippewa Valley, they come into play tonight with a 1-3 record after last week's 35-15 loss to MAC Red opponent Romeo. It dropped the Big Reds' league record to 0-2. I would now like to welcome in Jeff Vitale to the studio. And Jeff, this rivalry is as good as it gets in terms of football.
Oh man, you look back at it over the years, so much history, so much fun. And this is really one of those games where you said the records don't mean anything. It's kind of the old Michigan State rivalry. And that's sometimes when the upsets can happen if you're not paying attention. So if you're Dakota right now, you cannot take Chippewa Valley lightly. And if you're Chippewa Valley right now, you're saying, boy, this game can really turn the season around right now with a win on the Cougars cap. And the Big Reds got the Superintendent Trophy, so they want to hold on to it. Cougars want it back. And it's just one of those things that they fight for. So it should be a fun game. Looking forward to it.
Really an impressive outing last week by the Cougar defense, holding a very good Stevenson team to just 3 field goals.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing we've talked about was how good this defense has been over the years. They're very good at taking away the other team's best player. And you got to take your hat off to the coaching staff for that. They're a very tough defense to beat. The week before, Stevenson went into Chippewa Valley and kind of handled them. So I'm sure the Big Reds are going to take a look at a lot of that film and what they can attack defensively. And really what you don't want to do is let that offense kind of get going. So you got to keep this game tight. You got to keep it ugly, and just kind of get in there and grind.
Yeah, last week Brady Hamby was phenomenal once again. 16 carries, 147 yards. Jaden Ford not asked to do a lot, but a total team effort offensively and defensively for the Cougars.
Yeah, and what you want from Jaden Ford is just to manage the game. Brady Hamby, we say it every week, 147 yards, 16 carries, he probably had 87 tackles, 3 fumble recoveries, signed a few autographs in the stands, and probably ate a hot dog on the sideline. He's just unbelievable. So many players come through this rivalry over the years, and it makes this rivalry fun, and he's one of those. And then, if you run away from Brady Hamby, you run into
Damari Malone.
Yeah, so, eeny, meeny, miny, no thanks. I've said it 100 times in the air what a brilliant offensive mind Coach Denreiter has, but I try to look over that defense and go, where would I have to attack? And I don't have many answers. I'm very interested to see the Big Reds game plan come in today because they're going to have to do something that defense hasn't seen yet if they're going to win this game.
Speaking of the Big Reds looking to avoid the 0-3 mark in MAC Red play, how can they possibly get it done here tonight?
Yeah, an 0-3 mark in MAC Red play pretty much kind of puts you out of it, especially with the way Eisenhower seems to be going too. We haven't really talked much about them because we're going to see them at the end. You got to find a way to kind of find those short intermediate routes, get the ball out quick, still be able to run the football because you want to keep that offense off the field. And you got to find a way to tire out those 2 guys in the middle, and I don't know if you can do that. No one has done it yet. So over the years, you've seen the Big Reds come out with some trick plays, kind of like that line that Dan Fouts says in The Water Boy, even though it's not the last game, but you can't hold anything back. You got to just get after them. you got to throw everything at them and leave nothing left in the sink when it's all said and done.
Well, thanks for coming in. Can't wait to call tonight's game with you later on.
Looking forward to it.
Next week, the regular season continues with MAC Red play as your Dakota Cougars will play host to the Romeo Bulldogs, while the Chippewa Valley Big Reds return home to take on the Eisenhower Eagles. Both kickoffs are scheduled for 7 p.m. on October 4th. Thank you for watching tonight's pregame show. Coming up next, kickoff in the backyard battle. A rival. Webster says it's two groups striving to reach or obtain something that only one can possess. Tonight's prize possession, the Superintendent's Trophy given to the winner of the Backyard Brawl. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Dakota High School for tonight's MAC Red game between the Cougars and the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. I'm Brad Fetters, joined by CVC TV's own Jeff Vitale. And Jeff, tonight's game on paper, a little bit of a mismatch, but we know when these two teams hook up, you never know what to expect.
And that little intro, you got me all charged up, man. You write some good stuff. It is, Brad. It's, this is, the 39th meeting when you talk about, over since 1999, playoffs and all that stuff. And it doesn't really, it never matters what records are. This is always special. A little lighter crowd than what we're used to seeing, a late arriving crowd, but this is what it is. And the Big Reds coming at 1-3 with the Cougars right now and cruise control that defense. I'm very interested in the Big Reds game plan because they deferred and are kicking off to Dakota.
And we will have a opening touchback, automatic touchback as the ball sails over the goal line. Cougars will put the ball in play from their own 20-yard line. And this is a Dakota attack, Jeff, that is averaging 35 points per game.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the Brady Hamby show.
And there's a look at the Dakota offense. Brady Hamby going to get the start at the running back position. Jaden Ford is going to be the signal caller here tonight. All kinds of playmakers. Damari Malone, obviously a big weapon offensively for Dakota. And, of course, that terrific offensive line. They're going to pave the way tonight for the Cougar attack. Very first snap of the football game. They're going to keep it on the ground with Damari Malone, pushed out of bounds. A 6-yard gain for the young man who is going to Michigan State University.
And that's a big hit by Chippewa Valley's number 9.
Damari Connor.
He came over. You don't see very many guys take the woodshed to Damari Malone like that. Boy, did he lay a boom on him. But so Dakota sets him up in a wing, and now you can kind of run an ISO with either Hamby to Malone. This time we did the jet sweep and let Hamby lead. Now Dakota's in an empty formation.
So you get a look there at the Big Reds defensively. They're going to swing the pass out to Malone. Donnie Deagle, the do-everything defender for the Big Reds, comes up with the tackle.
Yeah, he's been a big player for them, and obviously you see why he was named the captain. Again, another time they're bringing Malone down. They're trying to get Damari right now out in space, and the Big Reds are ready for it. And it might be we might be getting close to some Brady Hamby time. He has yet to touch the ball, so.
Damari Malone, 6 catches on the season for 61 yards, along of 33. So really, he hasn't been a focal point of the passing game, per se. They like to use him on those jet sweeps. He kind of lines up almost in a tight end position. As they have Hamby in the backfield this time. Plenty of time for Ford. He's going to swing it out, and he's going to get intercepted. That's Eric Thomas Jr., and Thomas is going to run it out of bounds. Boy, oh boy, what a dream start defensively for the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. Just the 3rd interception of the season for Jaden Ford.
Yeah, the Big Reds came on a blitz there and then dropped everybody into coverage, and Thomas is one of those guys that dropped right in the middle of the field, and Ford never saw him, and he basically hit him right into the chest as he took that ball away from Hamby as he was coming across the middle. And wisely run out of bounds. The Big Reds start the ball at the Cougar 23-yard line, 1st and 10, and those are the kind of things that needed Chippewa Valley to start big. Turnover on the 3rd play of the game for the Cougars, and now the Big Reds with outstanding field position.
This is a Chippewa Valley offense that is really struggling to get going here in the early part of this season, averaging just 12.5 points per game in their 1-3 start. Oh, by the way, 0-2 in MAC Red play. But they come away with the turnover on defense, and they will put the ball in the hands of their senior quarterback, Caleb Folks.
And this is the one thing we said that we wanted to kind of see what happens with the Big Reds' offensive attack, because again, this defense has so many weapons. Where do you attack it? So very interested to see Chippewa Valley's offensive game plan.
Jordan Alston on the field as well. Alston's going to be the starting quarterback. Those two like to rotate, as Alston will give it to Folks on first down. Folks spins his way to the 20-yard line to pick up a 3 on first down.
And actually going to spot that just inside, so almost a gain of 4 there, Brad. Nice play by Chippewa Valley. They kind of went off tackle there to start.
You want to pull the upset on the road. You have to win the turnover battle. Points so far for Chippewa Valley. Now, second thing, get the turnover. Now you got to put points on the board.
Yeah, well, especially too in a big time fight, you want to be able to throw the first punch, and Chippewa Valley is throwing the first punch.
Folks remains in the backfield. Jordan Alston, the 5'10 senior signal caller, in the shotgun. He's going to roll out to his right. Couple receivers that way. He's going to tuck and run. He's going to get ushered out of bounds. He lost yardage there on second down. Amby in pursuit.
Yeah, that's a tough lot. He's got to throw that. I mean, you basically just go right back to the original line of scrimmage here. When you throw it away, you got a third and manageable. Now you got a third and long with his defense, and he had all the time in the world. He could have easily just gotten rid of that ball. Instead, he runs out of bounds for a loss of 4, and that pretty much puts Chippewa Valley back kind of where they started this drive.
As a senior, he should know better than that. You do not take the loss of yardage there. You just throw it into the dirt. Live to survive another day.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to get a talking to when he comes over the sideline on that play. That's a tough play, because now that really shortens the playbook in terms of what you can try to get on 3rd and 10 on this defense.
And now Chippewa Valley is going to be forced to take a timeout. Terry Wilson not happy.
Yeah, you don't want to take a timeout this early into the game, especially after all the momentum you just had, where you had the pick, you got it going, and you've kind of given some back to the Cougars here. If you can somehow, come away here with no points or even 3 points, I think that's a win for Dakota for sure. The Big Reds do got to win, and there is a strong win tonight. I can tell you that my hair was blown all over the place down on the field pregame, Brad. There is a strong wind blowing to the south today, almost southwest. And that's going to help when you're going toward the school. But when you're going away from the school, that's just a monsoon to kick into.
Chippewa Valley breaks their huddle after the timeout. Big Reds got out to a 9-0 lead last week against Romeo. For the defensive touchdown, John Lanier had a fumble recovery, scoop and score in that football game. Their offense looking to put up the first points in this rivalry game. Alston, and we got a pre-snap motion penalty, and this one's going to go against the Big Reds. So some self-inflicted wounds on back-to-back plays.
Yeah, the left end for the Cougars jumped a little bit, but did not get drawn in the neutral zone, so no flag. But then someone must have flinched, and now you go from 1st and 10 on the 23 to 3rd and 15 on the 28. And this is going to be a tough task here for the Big Red offense. I guarantee you Coach Bauer's dialing up something. And we've seen it. That front four can get to the quarterback without any help.
Line to gain is the Cougar 13-yard line. 3rd down, 15 to go. Alston in the shotgun, takes the high snap, plenty of time, looking to throw a fade into the end zone, and we're going to get a pass interference call. Deshaun Lanier on that outside. It was a battle between him and Arnez Sanders. Sanders going to Madonna next season. Lanier, you know where he's going, Bowling Green.
Yeah, that penalty is here. I mean, there was no play on the ball. He just grabbed Lanier and threw him. There might have been some pushing and shoving, but Sanders kind of too much there and kind of threw him to the ground, and that was an easy call for the officials. And it looks like where they spot the ball is going to be a tad short. Not an automatic first down in high school football, Brad. This is one thing a lot of people don't understand. But instead of 3rd and 16 now, you're basically 3rd and 1. That really changes the playbook for the Big Reds.
Chip has a 3rd down and 1 to go for a first down.
So let's take a look now at the Chippewa Valley offensive lineup for tonight's ball game. Obviously, the name that sticks out there is Caleb Fultz, listed as a starting quarterback, but we know he's got the majority of the work at the running back position. Donnie Deagle going both ways. Deshaun Lanier, obviously a dangerous target on the outside.
While you're looking at the graphic, Brad, Chippewa had to call another timeout. They had 12 in the huddle, and then someone ran to the sidelines, and if they didn't call a timeout, they had a penalty. So they burned 2 timeouts, and there's over 20 minutes to go in the half. They only got 1 timeout left for the remainder of the half. We'll see where that comes into play.
And there's that ferocious Dakota defense, Jeff, giving up just under 9 points per game, and really, it's that defensive line that's the most dangerous part. You look at Tyler Torrey, the job that he has done. Obviously, Brendan Meehan, a terrific mainstay of that defensive line, as well as Emilio Lynch. It's such a good defensive line. Aiden Lindsay, who's going to either go to Lawrence Tech or Madonna. Then you got Kreitzer playing at the linebacker position. It's just a Dakota defense that's just been a mainstay. With the offensive formation, and this time it's a QB keeper. That's Caleb Fultz. Down to the 10-yard line, needed 1, picked up 4.
Big Reds might have got away with a hold on the outside there. The end tried to peel off, and he couldn't, but not called by the officials. The Big Reds with a huge conversion on that pass interference call. You know, you mentioned the defensive line too, Brad, but I'll tell you what, one of the areas of this defense, which kind of was a question mark coming in, is the secondary. They've gotten better every single game. Obviously, that defensive line helps because when you can put pressure on a quarterback, definitely helps your secondary out, but that big conversion there, we'll see if the Big Reds can cash in here. You can get up 7-0 early, and granted it's early, but still, you want to score first and let the other team chase you.
Fultz again, going to try the left side. Pickup of 4.
You notice too, Brad, their runs have gone to the short side of the field today so far. Nothing to the wide side of the field. They're really trying to attack that short side of Dakota.
Gain of a couple on the play. They'll bring up 2nd and 8.
2nd and goal to go. Perhaps more importantly than anything else, this is a drive here for Chippewa Valley that's taking time off the clock. Obviously, as the underdog, you want to kill as much time and shorten this game as much as possible. They're going to throw for it here. The pass is complete into the end zone. Lanier.
I mean, he was in the end zone when he caught that. I don't know how the ball was not over the goal line, but the referee spotted it short.
Jordan Nelson's pass complete to number 2, Deshaun Lanier.
Wow.
And here comes the goal line offense back in.
Maybe we'll get our first push of the ball game.
For the Big Reds.
Maybe set up jumbo here and just push your way in.
And kind of how they got that first down too. They've been attacking that right side of the Dakota defense.
Alston under center. That's exactly what we're going to get. The old push.
Touchdown.
And the Big Red signal touchdown, and so does the line judge. Wow. What a start to this football game. The Big Reds get the takeaway on defense, and they score the first touchdown of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in this game, Brad, you know, we've talked about there's been a couple factors over the years that contribute to a team winning the game. The team who can run the ball, because that's always been a strength for both teams, is whoever can win the rushing battle and the turnovers. And the Big Reds capitalize on the Jaden Ford interception.
The kick is good.
And the kick is up and good, and now the Big Reds lead 7-0 right off the bat. So now the question is, what does the Dakota offensive game plan become? You continue to throw it, you try to ride Brady Hamby more, because I think you want to try to keep him as fresh as you can defensively also, but if you need him offensively, you saw he carried 16 times last week, you know, made 174 tackles. Like this, he never leaves the field.
Oh, and one of the funnier stats for this Dakota squad this year, they are now an even turnover margin. They've turned the ball over 4 times, 3 interceptions and a fumble. They only have 4 takeaways this season. For an outstanding Cougar defense, 4 takeaways is a low number for them through 4 football games.
Yeah, and you definitely always want to be on the plus side of that turnover battle. The Big Reds right now, and not only that, here's what that turnover that lead does now for the Big Reds is you can become a little bit more conservative on offense and just don't give anything away and make this Dakota Cougar offense run a lot of plays. So right now, advantage Chippewa Valley.
She's deep for Dakota. Haddad puts his right foot into it, and we will have another touchback. 6:34 left to go, opening quarter of play.
That wind makes a difference. That wind is sailing toward, again, the south end zone. As you go to the north end zone, as you can see, it's very tough to throw into, very tough to. So the Cougars are going to start with a long field, 80 yards they got to go, see if they can work on tying this game up. But the one thing we've seen, Brad, even if they've been down, this team doesn't panic. There's a lot of senior leadership on it, so we'll see how they respond because they're going to have to respond right now.
It's a Dakota offense that averages 360 yards per game, most of it on the ground, 213 per game, just 147 yards passing per game. They're going to send Malone over in motion to protect that right side. 4 turns, hands off to Hamby. Hamby into the Big Red secondary. Hamby down to the 31-yard line, a pickup of 11 on first down.
If this kid's not the MAC MVP this year, I don't know who is. I mean, I don't know anyone who does more for their team than Brady Hamby. And granted, there's a few more stars in this team too, but this kid does it all. He runs the ball, he makes tackles. I mean, he is unbelievable. 147 yards rushing last week, and every down on defense. He's absolutely insane.
He's old school, doesn't wear the gloves. He's going to take another handoff, waits for the hole to open. In fact, it doesn't open. Donnie Deagle, one of the first Big Reds to stick his helmet in.
Yeah, a lot of white jerseys in there to stuff that. They did a nice job. The defensive end did a nice job of forcing him back into the help. And everyone was right there to slow him down and for just a 1-yard gain. So great job there by the Big Red defense. And I'm sure Coach Wilson has spent a lot of late night hours getting that defensive game plan up, watching a lot of film, figure out ways to slow down this Dakota Cougar offense. And first drive, they got a pick. So
it's a Chippewa Valley defense giving up 26 points per game, gave up 42 in the loss to West Bloomfield, 24 in their loss to Stevenson, and 35 a week ago to Romeo. Damari Malone, look out! 2 men to beat, can't beat him, hauled down from behind, but all the way into Big Red territory, down to the 17-yard line.
Oh, look at the flag for celebrating. He did a little salute, and the referee threw the flag. So now instead of being on the 10, they're going to be backed up outside the 20.
That was a 51-yard run for Malone. It'll be a 15-yard penalty. Back to Cougars, the 32-yard line.
Yeah, that's a huge penalty. Now instead of being in the red zone, you're outside the 30, but the Cougars got the edge there. Look at this offensive line seal. Nice zone blocking right there, and all those offensive linemen getting their bodies around people. And now that's just 210 pounds downhill motion, and they're off to the races. Look at all that downhill blocking.
And that's Division I speed as well.
Yeah. He got run down, but out to 16, but didn't need that penalty because that ends up being a costly one for the Cougars. And now they're way outside the 32-yard line.
Richardson and Thomas Jr. in on the stop. Ford in the shotgun. Hands to Hamby. Hamby left side. Hamby got the edge. Hamby stiff arms his way out of bounds.
Oh, they're really getting that edge. You're starting to seal it. The Big Reds in that 53 defense, and the Cougars are really doing a good job of getting around those ends and hooking them. And Hamby and Malone have been off to the races the last couple plays here. Look at this. Great block there.
Hamby 25 yards on the ground. Near making the tackle.
Hard to see who was on the end there. That was 90. Is that Torrey?
Yep, sure is. Tyler Torrey.
He got around and made a great block, and Hamby was off to the races.
Torrey has a Wayne State offer. They're going to keep it with Hamby. Lowers the shoulder.
This is where they're lethal, Brad. That big offensive line that just loves to pound people. And of course, Brady Hamby, who just doesn't mind getting hit. And they're just going to ground and pound you right here. They get the end zone here. What a big answer this would be for the Cougars, huh? Here comes Aiden Lindsay in. There's a lot of big bodies in the game right now for Dakota.
Ford's going to come out of the football game, so more than likely this is where you see Hamby
Wildcat.
out of the Wildcat.
Straight ahead. There's no guessing who's getting the ball here.
Andrew Chadwick, backup quarterback, and Hamby goes down. Good penetration initially by Justin Wadsworth.
Yeah, looks like also 54.
Yep, that is Wadsworth.
And 8. 54 and 8 were on that
Eric
play.
Thomas Jr.
Yeah, we're going to say his name a lot, him and Deagle. But yeah, that was a great job, that defensive line getting upfield.
So that's Andrew Chadwick, the backup quarterback in the fullback position, is kind of that initial blocker. Good guy making the tackle.
Big Red defense standing strong now. 4th and 2. Decision time for the Cougars.
At home feels like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I mean, on the 2, I think you would obviously going to go for it. You make the Big Reds work with a long field, but do you eventually, is Brady Hamby here? Is this the one time he finally throws one? Because he can throw the ball.
He does have a pass this season.
We've seen it.
He's got one pass for 82 yards.
Got a false start.
Maybe now you consider putting points up on the board. Aronowski, field goal kicker, 2 of 3 on the season, but 18 of 19 on extra points, and that's essentially what this one is. And it looks like Coach Bauer will take the field goal attempt. Aronowski, 18 of 19 on extra points, 2 of 3 along the season of 46 yards.
There's a lot of guys in the field for the Big Reds.
24-yard field goal, and yeah, the count is right.
I think there's 12 or 13 guys out there.
There's at least 12. Now you go back to the ground and pound and try to score the touchdown now that you have the 5 yards. The ball will be spotted on the 2. And it looks like Dakota will, in fact, put their offense back out on the field.
The cat and mouse game continues.
So we've talked about it, some of these self-inflicted wounds. Neither team's played a perfect start to this football.
It's like we're playing Uno. Reverse you, back to me, draw 2, draw 4. Crazy. So we got a receiver.
Penalties and now too many men on the field penalty.
Yeah, we got a receiver out here. Is this the one time they try to throw? He runs at someone and lets it fly. That's sweet. Oh.
It's Goings. Hamby's going to roll that way. He's got Goings in the end zone. Hamby throws for it. Pass broken up by Lanier.
Well, the Big Reds stand tough on defense. They got a shaken up Cougar down low. That's 64. I don't think that's 54.
54.
Is that 54?
Big number 54, Jaden Hutar, the center.
Huge goal line stand there. That's something, obviously, you didn't want to give the momentum back to Chippewa Valley. That's exactly what the Cougars did with 2:10 to go here in the first quarter. The Big Reds got to work with a long field. And if the Cougars keep them kind of pinned in there, they might be able to get the win coming to start the second quarter. But boy, oh boy, that's a big stop right off the bat.
So the defense has come away with an interception. Now a turnover on downs on their goal line. They stiffen their backs. They come up with the turnover on downs. So win-win for the defense. Offensively, you got the touchdown. An absolute dream start for Chippewa Valley.
I mean, I don't know if Coach Wilson likes the 2 long runs, but your defense stiffened up, and you can't ask for anything more than what they're giving them right now. This has got to be a run. Oh, man, what the heck?
They're going to pass on first down, and they're going to chuck it deep. Jordan Alstead looking for Lanier. Skies up, nearly came down with that football, and now Lanier is shaken up.
Well,
I wonder if that's just getting the wind knocked out of you.
I mean, they went back to the matchup because he threw a pass interference earlier. Oh, he's holding his back.
This Chippewa Valley squad has come in to Dakota and has decided they are going to start throwing some haymakers.
I mean, they're on the 4-yard line where 99 times out of 100 most teams run, and they're just airing it out. And I definitely tip my hat to Coach Wilson and Coach Denreiter. They're coming out. They're holding nothing back. Just like our Dan Fouts little meme from the pregame show, if you guys missed it.
This is like a take no prisoners attitude.
I love it. I mean, that's the way you got to play sometimes when you're a heavy underdog. Come out, swing, and let it fly.
Alston again in the shotgun will turn and hand to Folks. Folks keeps those legs moving, picks up some positive yardage out to the 7-yard line. Be a 3rd down, 6 to go offensively for the Big Reds, under 2 minutes now remaining in the first quarter.
So I wonder with Alston being all the way over there to get the play call, if I'm not a Cougar, I'm going to go standing over there. You're technically on your side of the ball. You can do that.
That's old school, bringing the play call into the huddle.
He's over by the 15-yard line. I mean, you could easily stand by the ball. He's on your side of the field.
Especially if you're one of the DBs, right? If you're Arnett Sanders on that outside, you're entitled to stand over there. Now some laundry thrown once again.
Man, flags are flying. Legal formation?
Call that an encroachment. So now all of a sudden it's 3rd and short.
Wow, that really changes what Chippewa Valley can do now. You're talking about a pass interference call that helped lead to a touchdown. And now you can get a 1st down here and get out of the shadow of your own end zone. That becomes massive. Coach Bauer is trying to figure out what the penalty was, but he's not going to get an answer he likes.
Very uncharacteristic start to this football game for the Cougars, and now another snap penalty.
I see your penalty. I'm going to raise you mine.
Just trading the yardage back and forth. That's going to be a false start. Unbelievable. Well, nerves at an all-time high in the rivalry game.
Got the Backyard Brawl logo up there on the scoreboard. And you can definitely see it, over on the Dakota side as well as across the way at the Chippewa Valley side. There are a lot more people that have showed up. And this is kind of what we've been accustomed to at these games.
You mentioned it, 39th all-time matchup between these two schools. 26th time in the regular season. Pass goes to the outside. Caleb Folks dropped just shy of the 1st down markers. They're actually going to move him back to the 9-yard line.
Well, that was a great job because of that first missed tackle. He would have had the 1st down. But boy, the Cougars came in there, made a big stop. Vital she's missed, but there's that Goings on the tackle, and that saves the Big Reds having to punt now deep from their own territory, which you definitely want to kick it before this quarter goes out because you got the wind at your back.
Petrovic deep, along with Beetleshees, and it's going to be Petrovic makes the first man miss, dukes out another defender. Look out, Petrovic finally brought down at the Chippewa Valley 33. It'll be Jalen Thomas with the special teams tackle. That will be the final play of the first quarter.
Well, I think that's one player, Brad, who's going to need to get involved today to cover Cougars. You know the Big Reds focus on, they got to stop number 8, number 10, right? So Petrovic can be a guy where we've seen him in the Anchor Bay game. How many big catches did he make in that game? He's a guy who can maybe help take over the game. Here he is on a punt return. Gets a nice punt return as the Cougars start in Big Red territory at 31. I think he's a guy you got to find a way to get him the ball because he might get lost in the shuffle with so much attention on Malone and Hamby.
7-0 our score. Big Red on the road in front of the Cougars. Chippewa Valley off to that 1-3 record, 0-2 in MAC Red play. first 0-2 start to MAC Red Play since 2016. That year they lost their first 3 games in MAC Red Play before they beat Dakota and Stevenson. So Chippewa Valley kind of has a history of some get-right wins over this Dakota squad.
Yeah, a lot of times that's usually when the upsets in this rivalry happen, when one of the teams come in as a heavy underdog. You know, we've seen some barn burners, we've seen some surprises. There's been all kinds of games over the years, and I would say right now this first quarter it really has to rank up there. What a first quarter for the Big Reds. And now if you're Coach Wilson, you're Coach Denreiter over there, you're just trying to preach, keep this thing going, we got to make them chase us. And you know, they were that penalty killed them. They were very close to getting out of their end zone, maybe running some more time off the clock. Now the Cougars got some life. The Big Red defense is going to have to come up strong again. The question is just going to be, can they hold this Dakota defense up? If Chippewa Valley wins this game, it's got to be considered to be one of the biggest upsets in this rivalry. One of the biggest upsets is my son's senior year. They knocked off Dakota at Chippewa Valley. It was right around that time. That was a game-winning interception.
Well, there for a while, Dakota just absolutely owned this series. From 2004 through 2013, Dakota had 15 straight wins.
Yep. I mean, I was on the 06 staff at Chippewa Valley when that was in the 2 state championship runs they had. That team was absolutely stacked.
Ford's going to hand off to Goings on the sweep. Goings still on his feet. Very close to a first down. Going to be marked just short of the chains.
Yeah, those outside zone plays have really worked well for the Cougars tonight. They've really been getting around the Big Reds. The Big Reds have struggled on that outside zone play. When they've been able to force the ball back up inside, is where Chippewa Valley has been successful. But the minute Dakota breaks that contain, Chippewa Valley is really in a struggle. What a block there by Malone. You see Goins cut right up inside that. Look at the brigade just leading them. I feel safe running behind those guys. Go the other way.
Same play, just the opposite direction. Goings cuts it back upfield. Across the 15 down to the 14. A gain of 9. And all of a sudden, Dakota knocking on the door.
That's the one thing about this offensive line. You can't appreciate it watching it on the game here. You've got to be down the field and see how big these kids are up close. This offensive line is huge. And again, no slouch to Chippewa Valley either. That's a big defensive line. And these guys, when those bodies just pound on you all game long, it just really wears you down. That's the one thing the Big Reds are going to have to do is try to keep those long, sustained Dakota drives to a minimum so your defense doesn't get worn out.
Backup tailback Jeremiah Aaron into the football game. He's going to fumble it, pick it back up, and get brought down immediately. Tackle made by Ashawn Adams.
Jeremiah Aaron on the carry.
Dangerous play there.
Yeah, he was lucky that ball really bounced right back up into his lap because that ball could have went a different direction. That ended up being a good break for the Cougars because that could have really gotten bad. Look at there's some white shirts right there around them. They could have easily gotten that.
I think things went haywire when Ford took that high snap. It took him a while to bring the football down, and as he did, Jeremiah Aaron, not a very big dude at 5'6". I think he almost made contact, maybe even with Aaron's face mask. This time they keep it on the ground with Hamby. Hamby trying to turn upfield, nothing going. Surrounded by a bunch of white jerseys, a whole host of Big Reds in on the tackle.
Yeah, and I think you're going to have to ask Jaden Ford every now and then to run a little, either like a boot or a keep. Because when you get the ball to Brady Hamby in those sweeps, that whole defense is going with them. And if you kind of run a counter motion off of that, that's got to bring somebody wide open because your first priority is to take Brady Hamby away over Jaden Ford. And you might have to get him to use his legs a couple times tonight, or maybe even like roll someone across the field on a little boot action.
Some movement along that defensive line. That's free yardage. Boy, oh boy. Chippewa Valley just can't get out of their own way right now.
Yeah, there's some big penalties in the red zone today. Good Lord. You know, the one that cost the Cougars chance at points, and now, Chippewa Valley given instead of a 3rd and long, now you got a 3rd and short where this is really right up Dakota's alley. You want to guess who's getting the ball here, Brad?
It'll be Hamby. I'm sure of it.
I don't see you're going to see a Jaden Ford quarterback lead here, that's for sure. No offense, Mr. Ford.
And snaps
boy.
high. Ford's going to pick it up. Now he's going to roll out to his right. Throws a dangerous pass, nearly intercepted by Richardson.
Oh, is there some in the air tonight? I'm looking around. I don't see a full moon.
No.
Like what? There is some weird stuff happening, especially with our replay.
Cue up the Benny Hill music.
Man, there is nothing easy tonight.
Cougars going to keep the offense on the field here. 4th down and 1 to go.
Slant to Petrovic. Look at how wide Petrovic is. You can't even see him in the screen. He is way almost between the middle and the C.
This time they do go to Hamby. The C's open, and Hamby walks it into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown.
I don't know what I was thinking there, Brad. I got a little crazy there. I'll never dial that back. What a hole. That's some good blocking there. Dakota ties this game up on a very big 4th down conversion. How about Jaden Ford on that snap, just to get rid of it, to just make it a 4th and short as opposed to a 4th and forget it.
Yeah, he could have easily just fallen on that football. Instead, he wisely picked it up, created something with his legs. The extra point is good. 7-7 our score.
Yeah, big answer there by the Cougars. And it started with Petrovic's punt return. We got it down to the 31-yard line, and then we just had a series of, not going to use the word unfortunate events because it's probably copyrighted, but it's very strange events before Dakota finally punches it in the end zone.
A 31-yard drive.
I got to keep my voice fresh. WJR wants to talk to me at halftime.
2 minutes and 2 seconds, 7-play drive. Yeah, that's right here. WJR doing the game tonight. There's Coach Terry Wilson working that official on the far side.
Probably have to sign some autographs and kiss a few babies going down there. You know,
yep. Jeff Vitale fan club in full force here tonight. Austin Aronowski going to kick it deep for the Cougars back in this ball game. 7-7 our score.
He's got his wind at his back here. My guess is this ball's going through the uprights. I mean, why make them go 80 yards into the wind? And this wind is strong tonight. Boy, that flag is whistling.
We do have the window closed here in the press box. It was whipping through here earlier. All of our papers went flying. Aronowski not quite through the uprights, but over the back line. Still pretty impressive.
Yeah, I couldn't do that back in my day.
Third offensive drive of this football game now for the Big Reds.
All right, well now if you're the Cougars, you kind of settled in a little bit. You got it back to 7-7. You got the Big Red offense working against the wind. You got the wind at your back here, which can open up the playbook a little bit. You got to try to see if you can get them to punt with that wind, into that wind, and maybe take advantage of some good field position here and see if you can maybe create some distance. If you're the Big Reds, I think number one thing is just take care of the football. Make this Dakota defense work. Easier said than done.
In the shotgun. Pass low. Intended for Jaden Brown.
Broken up by number 10, Damari Malone.
Yeah, Cougars dialed up a blitz there. Bate just came in hot and forced that throw a little earlier than he probably wanted to release it. And that receiver really hadn't even made his break yet. That ball was already by him. Coach Bauer loves to dial up those blitzes, especially on first down.
.49 left to go, first half of play, 7-7. So glad you decided to tune us in live tonight. Chippewa Valley Cable Television YouTube channel. Brad Fetters alongside my main man, Jeff Vitale. Backyard brawl, Chippewa Valley, Dakota. Best rivalries in the Macomb Area Conference. Oh, what a hit. Caleb Folks went down like a sack of rice. What a stick by Brady Hamby.
Oh my gosh.
Lost a yard.
He cut up into the hole, and I think he's regretting that decision. Good God, was that a hit.
Let's get another look at it here.
Oh, you're gonna be field view too. Look at this shot.
Field level. Boom.
Oh.
You want to play varsity football?
No. I think Bay just got more of them than Hamby did. That was oh, good Lord.
Jacob Bages in there as well.
3rd and long. This is where you do not want to be as the Big Reds. Here comes the bunch of blue
Malone,
right at you.
Malone's showing blitz, now backpedals out of it.
Screen.
They're looking for the screen, instead they're just going to chuck it into the turf. Jordan Alston tried to sell a little bit of a call there. He's looking for a roughing the passer call.
Well, if you're the Cougars, this is what you want now. You got the Big Reds punt from their own 19-yard line. You got just a huge wind in the face of the punter. You're going to get some pretty good field position here with 7:55 to go in the half. Look at that ball just die. Poison. Oh, and it takes a huge checkup. They're going to get that ball, Brad, inside the 30.
So second straight drive that will start in Chippewa Valley territory, going to be marked at the 29-yard line.
Cougars will start the drive 1st and 10 at the Big
Well, that
Red
ball just hung up there.
line.
The higher that ball gets, that wind is just killing it. And it did. And then, of course, not only landed, then it just checked back like a Phil Mickelson wedge.
Like a flop shot.
Yeah, I don't got that in my bag. Not much in my bag this year. It's been a pretty disappointing golf season.
3 and out for the Big Reds, just as disappointing as Vitale's golf game.
Uh-huh. Kick a man while he's down.
Cougars back on offense. They're going to pass for it. Damari Malone. Couple Big Reds needed to bring him down at the 24-yard line, pick up a 5.
A nice gang tackle there. I mean, he's a load to get down. Little RPO there. It was covered pretty well. I thought he was going to give that just because there didn't seem to be a whole lot going up the middle there, but Jaden decided to throw it out. Looks like they're going to get 5 on the play. And they got the ball spotted. It says 2nd and 6 on the scoreboard, but where the down marker is, that's on the 24, and they were on the 29, so that's a 5-yard gain.
Jeremiah Aaron in the backfield. Aaron, swing pass the outside. Cheese makes the first man miss. That's speed in space for the 13th pickup of 11.
One thing Coach Plouffe has done a nice job with running the offense is really utilizing a lot of different weapons that he has. You know, obviously Hamby and Malone are going to get the ball your touches, but you get Beetle-Shees out in space, you bring Goings in. There are several guys you can bring in that can really help you move the ball down the field and not lose anything. You know, and don't forget too, you got Petrovic out there where they haven't seen him yet, but he'll make some big plays tonight. Watch and see.
Dave Carrier made the tackle. Sweep to Goins. Goins around the edge. Brought down at the 10. We're starting to hit hard now.
Goins on the carry.
Ashawn Adams.
Tackle by number 6. Ashawn Adams with the help of number 8, Eric Thomas.
A little John going on down there.
Gain about 3 on the play, and that's going to have 2nd down and 7.
Cougars knocking on the door. 3rd trip into the red zone. 1 for 2 so far in this football game. 6:05 left to go, first half of play. 2nd down, 6 to go. Ford in the shotgun, barks out the play call, and Cougars, might have been Petrovic, the wide receiver, that jumped early.
Good ball. Lane procedure. Dakota.
A lot of red zone penalties they have both teams.
Did you see any movement along the offensive line?
I didn't see any movement, Brad, but we're a long ways up here. And even the guys on our monitor look small. I'm at a disadvantage. Like usual, you're gonna have to carry me.
I'll try. Back will be sore by the end of the night.
A little heavy. I'm working on it. I'm losing weight though. 150 miles of biking in this month.
For you.
There's a big fella.
Straight up the gut on the dive. He's still on his feet. Down to the 9-yard line.
You're going to have to tackle him, folks. Mr. Hamby just does not go to the ground. He keeps those legs moving. He is a warrior.
Number 8, Brady Hamby on the carry.
Not a wristband or glove on him. Nothing on his arm. I mean, he is an old school just throwback.
Third down, about 6.
Love it.
belongs in one of those NFL Films videos, right?
Why not?
The Raiders.
Especially if you see athletes today, they got eye black all over their arms, their face, their legs. And he is just an old school throwback, hard nosed.
He'd be a perfect member like the Steel Curtain, right?
Oh,
the Steelers,
without a doubt.
old school Steelers. Goings in motion. They're gonna fake the Hamby on the play action. That ball comes loose. That's gonna be an incomplete pass intended for Goings. So you motion him over into the flats, you throw out to the numbers. Pass falls incomplete, and the field goal unit will come out for the Cougars as they will try to pick up their first lead of this football game.
Yeah, a little missed block out there, but nicely read by Chippewa Valley. There were 3 Big Reds over there.
Austin Aronowski will be the kicker. Landon Mitchelson will be the holder, we think. Yep, Cougars need to get a body back out onto the football field. They were man down.
Yeah, there was somebody injured.
26-yard field goal. Snap is high. They get it down. The kick is no good. Wide left.
Well, the Big Reds dodge another bullet. Wow. Cougars a great field position. The Chippewa Valley defense comes away again. No points.
This Dakota sideline, these fans in the stands directly below us, dead quiet right now. 1 for 3 in the red zone. 2 drives, they have come away with no points. You want a recipe for an upset? Those are the first 2 ingredients.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, those are the numbers that you need to go your way here. And now, if you're the Big Reds with everything that's kind of happened, go your way right now. You can hit one and go up. Oh boy, that you can kind of hear the sideline on the other side through a little bit here. And again, we got the window closed, but the home side, obviously, we're not used to
going
this
backwards. Big time loss on first down, a loss of 6.
Yeah, Vital She's on the tackle. Nice job coming from his corner position there, safety position to make a tackle, and
6 on the play.
big loss.
Second down and 16.
Watch this play. Here he comes flying up. Nice play.
So now this sort of handcuffs the Big Reds offensively. Backed up, a second down, 16 to go. 3:45 remaining in the second quarter of play. One would think Chippewa Valley will go pretty conservative here, right?
Yeah, you would think so, especially backed up in your own zone with the wind in your face. It's not going to be easy to throw the ball, but
Alston flushed out of the pocket.
This could be
just kind
ground.
of chucked it up.
He's not out.
Wants the intentional grounding.
He's not outside the tackle box.
He wasn't. He was right on the
not
hash
even
mark.
close.
Ball's incomplete.
I mean, he's not even 2 steps to where he throws the ball. Watch this move, and I mean, that's grounding. Big Reds get a break there.
Dakota's going to hustle in an extra defensive back. That was A.J. Biddle. Sienna Heights offer that starting free safety.
I don't know what receiver was in the area, but
So line to gain here for the Big Reds at the 30-yard line. Do you just chuck it up here to Lanier and hope you get a pass interference call?
it has worked once tonight. No, not until they go 5 yards further back.
Boy, oh boy. Thought we had a lot of flags in the Thursday night football game last night. Well on our way to that mark here tonight.
I can't get into Thursday night football games, and I hate watching them on Prime.
You'd think these sort of mistakes would be cleaned up by week 5. Lanier at the very bottom of the formation. 2 wide receivers to Alston's right. Caleb Folks in his left-hand pocket. He's going to hand off to Folks up the middle and met again. A very big tackle made by Aiden Lindsay.
Number 7, Caleb Folks on the carry, brought down by number 24, Jacob Pages.
Chippewa Valley scores on their opening drive of the football game, and since then, punts, including 2 3-and-outs. This time the kick is a little bit better. Fair catch called for and muffed. And then Petrovich will fall on it at the 47-yard line. Now the third straight drive for the Cougars that start in Chippewa Valley territory. 2:52 left to go. Plenty of time here for Dakota.
Oh, lots of time. You got the wind at your back, but right now, everything that could have gone wrong in this first half for the Cougars has, and you're tied. You know, obviously, when you talk about the second half, I'm sure Chippewa Valley is going to try to get the wind at the fourth quarter, because you can see the wind has really been a factor going into it as opposed to going with it. So if they can get the Cougars to go into the wind in the fourth quarter and have the ball, who knows? You just got to be in the game still.
Hamby
time.
out of that Wildcat, stretches forward up to the 43. Picked up a handful. Dakota looking for their 9th 5-0 start in program history. Last time they started out 5-0 was 2022. That was a good season. Perfect regular season. Their lone loss came to Cass Tech in the regional championship that year. Chippewa Valley is actually going to take their final time out.
That game was here. I remember that game.
28th annual Dakota High School Fall Holiday Craft Show. Happening on November 2nd.
Started out 5-0 in that magical year of 1999. The 99 season was the very first meeting between these two teams. 28-14 win for Chippewa Valley in the regular season, but Dakota got some revenge, 34-28 in the district championship game that year.
That was our overtime win back on the coaching staff before I got hired. That was actually my first year in the district.
1999, the most popular show that year, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Most popular movie, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. The #1 song, Believe, by one of your favorite artists, Cher. The world population exceeded 6 billion people, and gas cut was $1.17 a gallon.
Why'd you have to go tell everyone about my Cher, how much I love Cher?
Were you worried about Y2K back in 1999?
Everybody was. Everyone thought the computers were going to shut down. They didn't know they didn't realize the clocks could turn to 2000.
Goings dropped a wide open pass.
Well, it's been a tough first half for the Cougars.
Star Wars Episode 1, that was Jar Jar Binks, right?
The Phantom Menace, so yeah, that was because, well, the original series I remember seeing the theaters in the 70s. We'll stop there.
1999.
Prince?
Song.
Yes, sir.
Mari Malone out in motion, forward, 5-step, drop back, looking to go deep, got a man! Just out of the reach. Elijah Goings. Oh man, Goings got behind that big red secondary, and it is now 4th down.
That was a good throw. I'm wondering if the wind had a little bit to play with that, Brad, and help that thing sail just a little further. How about this Big Red defense in the first half? They have played their tails off.
Yeah, it's a unit that had given up 26 points per game. Mentioned the 35-15 loss a week ago to Romeo. Lanier deep.
Look at this
give him an opportunity to field this. Oh my goodness! What a coughing corner kick, and I mark it out at the 2-yard line.
Boy, it don't get much better than that.
Aronowski with the perfect punt.
That ball literally landed right where the hash meets the sidelines. That was an easy call for the official on a nice line drive spiral. And you want to talk about pinning the Big Reds deep. Brad, the Cougars have all 3 timeouts, and they can get them to punt deep in their zone. Might be able to get a chance to set them up to get a score before the half. So we said the last time the Big Reds had the ball deep, they're going to come out and be conservative. They're airing it out. So I have no idea what we're going to see here. Coach Wilson, but kind of let it kind of fly in that first half. So.
Well, and that's why I don't think there's any sort of hesitation with the Cougars offensively on that last drive. Just punt the football away, play the field position game. As you mentioned, all 3 timeouts. Chippewa Valley doesn't have one. They used their last timeout on defense. Jordan Alston now under center, ripped up in the backfield. Folks just got it barely back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there ain't a whole lot of room down there. And do you leak a tight end out? Try to throw it on. I mean, everyone's just jamming the gaps right now. Might leave something open, but boy, you miss and you could be in big trouble. You could just blow the game open. So you really got to be careful here.
Cougars electing to allow the clock to tick down here. 20 seconds have expired. Perhaps you start using those timeouts after this second down play. Alston under center once again. Got the extra blocking tight end in. Folks spins out of the first tackle. Folks still on his feet. Folks finally brought down at the 7.5-yard line.
Number 7, Caleb.
Dakota will elect to take their first timeout of the half.
By number 59.
Good solid run there by Folks.
Yeah, nice job of getting uphill. Just kept his feet turning. Got a good gain on that, at least to get out of the shadow of his own end zone. Kind of gives the Big Reds a little bit more options here on 3rd and 5 to see if they can do something. Because you know Dakota's going to use their next time out here if they can stop them and force them to punt. So, boy, if you can get a first down here, basically now they just pretty much run the clock out. Be up 7-7 at the half. If you were to tell that to Coach Wilson for the game, he'd have taken that in a heartbeat.
2 in MAC Red play, and neither game very close. 20-point loss to Romeo, 17-point loss to Stevenson, and the loss to Stevenson hurts even more because it was a home game. MAC Red play, you got to take care of business at home.
And the Big Reds were up early in that game against Romeo, and then the wheels just came off.
Yeah, 9-0.
Yeah.
Got the defensive score.
Oh, I think he got it.
Very close. That far side judge says
12,
good.
Jordan Alston on the keeper. Good for a first down for the Big Reds.
Little quarterback keep. It was almost like the old triple option midline play where you just kind of fake like an off tackle and you just foul him up the middle, like almost like a lead blocker. And he got 5 yards to get the first down. Look at this. Fake. That's Folks. Yep. And then just right between the tackles. Nice run. The Big Red offensive line stay on the blocks. First down Chippewa Valley. Now you can just run the clock out.
Yep. Under a minute remaining. This looks like he's going to take a knee. Dakota will take a timeout.
We do got one left.
Timeout. Dakota.
Cougars call timeout. This season has been full of great dinners, and we would again
And a case in point to what we talked about earlier. Dakota started out 4-0 last year and lost to this Chippewa Valley team 28-21. So Chippewa Valley really has sort of been that kind of fly in the ointment, so to speak, for Dakota.
Remember to save your ticket stub for tonight's
Yeah,
game.
you know, they also had 38 seniors last year, where Dakota was predominantly a junior-led team
It's true.
last year.
Yep.
So, you know, I think the Big Reds had a little bit more of an experience factor. Where this year, it's the other way around. But boy, the Big Reds have just played about as good as first half as you can expect, and to be in the game 7-7, they just got to be over the moon on that.
The state semifinalist team from 2002, they started out the season 7-0, lost to Chippewa Valley. Throw the snap, or nope, you're just going to take a knee there, right? Chippewa Valley just took a knee. And Dakota took their final timeout.
Timeout.
Well, it's going to be third down here. Take another knee here. Depending on when the referees decide to blow the play clock whistle. Should take you to the half.
Visit our concession stand tonight.
The little cat and mouse game never ends, Brad.
Fresh hot pizza, popcorn,
Tom never gave up chasing Jerry. Just remember that.
So after that touchdown drive for Chippewa Valley.
They do a great job for all the students here at high school. So if you're hungry or thirsty, visit the concession stand. I'm sure they can take care of you.
Wow.
Good look at the Cougar Den student section. So 8 yards since that touchdown drive.
Well, and that's gonna be it. So halftime score, Brad. We're 7-7.
And if you're head coach Terry Wilson of the Chippewa Valley Big Reds, you have to be absolutely thrilled at that first half result.
Yeah, and the Big Reds deferred to the second half, so they're going to get the ball to start.
7-7 our score. Stick around to Chippewa Valley Cable Television. Our band performance will air in its entirety right here. When we come back, it'll be the start of the second half of play. Don't go anywhere.
Tonight's matchup is being featured as the Drive to the Game high school football game of the week, being broadcast live on WJR 760 AM and Sportscaster.com with play-by-play from 760 WJR Chris Renwick and color commentary provided by students from both schools. To hear the full replay, visit WJR.com. Let's have a big hand for the junior cheerleaders coming out of Quarantine Center. And that is the junior dancers entertaining us tonight.
back to Dakota High School. Brad Fetters alongside Jeff Vitale, Chippewa Valley Cable Television, continuing coverage of our backyard battle between the Dakota Cougars and the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. MAC Red Varsity Football action. 7-7 our score. The Chippewa Valley Big Reds will have the opening possession of the second half of play after they deferred the opening coin toss. Dawson Aronowski has the ball teed up, nearly set to go. Little bit of a surprise that we are deadlocked at 7 apiece. Chippewa Valley ended up with just 30 total yards of offense in the first half, after their first drive went 23 yards and found pay dirt. The Dakota Cougars 138 yards of total offense. So the discrepancy there.
Ball was caught.
Obviously the Cougars turnover on the opening drive of the football game, and the fact that they are 1 for 3 in the red zone, really the story of that first half of play.
Yeah, that's the recipe for an upset, Brad. And the Big Reds are going to get the ball here to start, and we'll see what the chess match at halftime with all the coaching adjustments came up with. So
Jeff Vitale
I
back
got stuck behind the band. I had to hustle and go up the other side of the steps, man. You should see me tight walking.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it tight.
I was
tight
over
walking,
there.
but
No,
I saw you were
power walking.
You were in the under the microscope over there. You were in the bright lights.
My Apple Watch is at like 137 beats a minute right now.
Jordan and another pre-snap penalty. Wow. Now I don't know. Is this just an officiating staff that's paying extra attention to the pre-snap movement, or what?
I don't know. I mean, they might need some rotator cuff surgery after this game is said and done with as many of the flags go flying. It's definitely a point of emphasis with this crew. And excessive celebrating.
So Chippewa Valley really gets off schedule now. First down, 15 to go from the 15-yard line.
FYI, I'm the newest play guy at WJR, so this is my final broadcast. No, I'm just kidding.
You're resigning effective immediately? Alston swings it out
Peace
into
out.
the flats, tight roping the sideline. Damari Connor pushed out of bounds at the 23. So gets the penalty yardage back and then some. As Sanders gets credit for the tackle. Second down, 7 to go.
Yeah, nice job by the Big Reds there, just getting your speed out into space. Letting your athletes be athletes.
Chippewa Valley using that entire halftime in their locker room. They didn't come out until the clock hit 0, and then they got the additional 3 minutes of warm-up time. Flushed out of the pocket. Jordan Alston scrambling for his life, and will throw it incomplete.
Yeah, he's been kind of on the move all day long. That Dakota defense is so hard to scheme against, just because they're so well disciplined, but they're just so big up front. They're so fast in the secondary. There's just not a whole lot of places to run to. Those holes close up really quick, and those guys in the second level and third level come at you at 150 miles an hour. And you got to make quick decisions, and the longer you hold on to the football, you just might as well put a target on as a jersey instead of a regular football jersey.
One would think this is a obvious passing situation here for the Big Reds, but then again, you just never know how conservative the Chippewa Valley Brain Trust on the offensive side of things want to play this. And Caleb Falks will keep it on the ground.
Ball ran by number 7, Caleb
Certainly
Falks.
making me look foolish.
You know, one thing I find interesting, Brad, is if the Big Reds obviously choose to receive the second half, Dakota got to choose which way to kick. And they're going to be going into the wind in the fourth quarter, giving the Big Reds the win. And I find that interesting.
Maybe a little bit of a mistake.
Possibly. I mean, that win so far has really been a difference maker.
And it is still blowing.
It is.
Even as at 8:17 at
Hair
night.
is all over the place coming from outside there. Oh.
Nowhere to run this time on first down. Folks dropped immediately.
That was nice. You saw them coming literally right at us. And that hole was up, and then that hole closed just as fast. Nice job there by the Cougar defense.
Back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd down, 10 to go. 10.5 minutes left to go in the third.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of stats at halftime. You know what? The only one matters to the Big Reds right now?
The score.
7-7.
Yep.
I mean, statistically, it is in the massive favor of the Dakota Cougars, except for the scoreboard.
And this really has to be a pride thing. And I would imagine that was the message to the team all week long. Listen, you're 1-3, you're 0-2. There's not too many Chippewa Valley teams that have losing records. In fact, the last time this Chippewa Valley squad failed to make the playoffs was 2011.
Been a long time.
That year they went 3-6. So it is unheard of for Chippewa Valley to fail to make the playoffs. That was the first real good completion of this football game that goes for 11.
Yeah, nice little quick slant. And again, getting your speed into space. And Coach Denreiter, along with Jordan Olson, got a nice little rhythm going right now. And the Big Reds starting to get some momentum here. They're using that extra tight end to kind of give an extra blocker to slow down that front line. Nice scheme so far by the Big Reds.
It's Jaden Brown, that extra tight end. They're going to keep it on the ground. Donnie Deagle this time. Deagle going to give folks a bit of a breather.
Number 5, Donnie Deagle on the carry.
Deagle picks up 2.
Number 24, Jacob Pages.
Just so many athletes down there. I know I've probably said this 100 times over doing these games over the years, but can you just imagine if this was one team?
Oh, they would be a powerhouse. No one would beat them.
I don't know how. I mean, your third string could probably beat most team starters.
Alston out of the shotgun. Gonna throw it to Lanier. Lanier hoping to make a couple men miss. Arnez Sanders, the first Cougar to the football.
And Deshaun kind of hesitated there. I thought if he could have got outside a little bit more, it might have helped him, but he kind of stutter stepped and he decided to just go straight at him and only got about 3 when he could have probably got a couple more there.
3rd down, 5 to go.
Obviously, he draws a lot of attention from that Dakota defense.
Bowling Green commit, following in his head coach's footsteps. A little RPO play action there. Caleb Folks back in at the tailback position. Big play in the early parts of the second half. Chippewa Valley desperately needing to move the chains. High snap, they bring it down. Folks stacked up and brought down right at the midfield stripe.
Well, here's some decision time. You got about a 4th and 3. It's about 2 7/8. They're gonna punt it. You're in a side of the field though where this could be a fake.
So that high snap really kind of set things off the wrong start there for Chippewa Valley. They couldn't recover. Folks did everything he could do. She's the only player deep for the Cougars. The snap is good. The kick is away. Biddleshees will let it bounce. And it's going to take a nice big red bounce and roll all the way down to the Dakota 7-yard line. So playing the field position game, that's a win for the Big Reds. 43-yard punt.
Yeah, you know, we talked about one of the biggest differences with the turf versus the grass is the roll you get sometimes on the football. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Well, that was definitely a good roll here for the Big Reds as that ball just seemed to just weeble wobble all the way down to the 7 there. And boy, what a long field for the Cougars. Only 6:55 to go in the quarter. You got to really utilize this wind.
And outside of the 77-yard drive that stalled out right before the goal line, Dakota really hasn't shown that they can put any sort of sustained drives. They've had excellent field position as they've started out in Chippewa Valley territory 3 separate times. We mentioned their struggles in the red zone. Hamby lowers the shoulder and wiggles his way all the way up to the 15-yard line. 8 yards on first down. That's a way to get your offense on track.
Yeah, when in doubt, just give it to number 8. It definitely makes play calling a lot easier, doesn't it?
And I go back to that Eisenhower game from a year ago when Jaden Ford was on the shelf, and Brady Hamby just did it all. He was the starting quarterback, and he was chucking it. He was running that offense as we get a pass play here on second down, and this is going to lose a yard.
The far side judge looked like he spotted it almost right back. He might have got it. No, now he's moved back a little bit.
It's Jack Aronowski.
That ball was a little short getting there, and boy, the Big Reds got over there in a hurry. I mean, you got to put this in number 8's hand, right? I mean, you're 3rd and 2. It's got to go to him. Let Malone lead the way. Maybe bring him in motion or just go right off here, tackle.
Another high snap. Ford able to bring it down. Does hand off to Hamby, and he's going to pick it up. Needed 2, got 4.
And I'll tell you one thing the Cougars are not worried about right now. Style points. If they win this game 8-7, 10-7, score more points. You got to just get the W. Because sometimes on games like this, where big rivalry games, you got to try to win ugly.
Yeah, they don't ask you how. They ask you how many. And that Chippewa Valley schedule doesn't look any easier. Eisenhower at home next week. They stay at home for their homecoming game against Anchor Bay, and the non-conference games at Port Huron Northern, and then they close the season with De La Salle.
Yeah, it is definitely a brutal schedule.
What a matchup, De La Salle this week against Detroit Catholic Central. That game is going to be played on Sunday.
Well, they just came back too from playing the #1 team in Ohio and got their lunch handed to them.
Yeah, De La Salle got spanked in that football game.
I mean, we've seen how good they've been over the years. Imagine the talent from that team from Ohio, how good they were. Holy cow.
And that was a team that I believe Detroit Catholic Central beat, so one would think maybe Detroit Catholic Central's the odds-on favorite to win that game on Sunday. Jaden Ford going to roll out to his right, looks upfield, got a man through the hands of Dylan Beetleshees.
That's the first time we've seen him roll Jack out. Jack had a nice pocket. He had a lot of time to throw. He decided to go to the deeper option there. It just fell incomplete.
Gabe Carrier in coverage there for Chippewa Valley. It's a tough throw on the run. Just a little bit high, I guess.
Just a tad above the reach there.
Second down, 15, 4:40 to go in the third. Hamby straight ahead, takes down the safety with them. That was Carrier, might have saved a touchdown.
He is not gonna juke and cut to the outside and spin. He is just a runaway freight train.
We are directly next to the Chippewa Valley coaching staff booth, and they have let us know their thoughts throughout this football game.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where you're there and he just makes a play, and as a defensive coach, you just got to be frustrating because just sometimes it's just him being a superior athlete than the guy from across from him.
It's just hard yards right now. Nothing coming easy for either one of these teams, and this is just heart and determination and just stick-to-itiveness. As it eventually takes 4 Chippewa Valley Big Reds to take down Hamby. Brady Hamby going to Ferris State University.
Coach Anise got to be loving him. I would be.
Jeremiah Aaron now going to give Hamby a bit of a break here. As they go to Elijah Goings, tripped up. Spills forward for a gain.
And they've really gone to that jet sweep a lot.
Number 1, Elijah Goins on the carry. Gaining a few on the play, that's going to bring up 2nd and 7.
Goings
for the Cougars.
Really haven't seen
Got
Malone
4.
touch the ball as much tonight.
No, and
offensively.
it's surprising. They went to him quite a bit on that very first drive of the football game, especially through the air.
And he kind of took over the Anchor Bay game.
Chippewa Valley slow to bring out a DB. It's Jeremiah Johnson late. And they run a bit of a reverse. Ryan Petrovich.
Oh, that was set up nice.
And a late flag comes in from that far side.
Yeah, the last several plays, there's been a lot of John.
Petrovich picks up 8. Make it 9. They're going to
He's holding his head.
spot
He
it
got
at the
dinged.
46.
That'll be tough if they lose him. He must have got on Chippewa Valley. They're going to give Dakota 15 yards here. They should put them inside the 40, right? Let's see what
Let's
happens.
get another look here.
Kind of got over him and taunted him. You see him?
Yeah.
And that referee, he was on the other side earlier. He's been all over that today, kind of watching for that stuff. So that line judge. So he was right there and made the call. He got Malone earlier in the game.
Bring the ball all the way down to the Chippewa Valley 39. A little swing pass out to Goings. Goings tripped up at the very last second. Eric Thomas Jr. And all of a sudden, this Dakota offense back up to their old ways.
Yeah, big red
17
down.
yards on first down. Timeout on the field. That Chippewa Valley player down, that's Lanier.
Cramping up. Maybe he's trying to stretch. He's in a lot of pain. Get the mustard.
Training staff going to take a look at Mr. Lanier. Terry Wilson going to come over to check in on his star player as well. Get another look here at this last play.
Nice little RPO. Yeah, nice little RPO. And that's a guy you want in space, Brad.
Goings, yeah. Just a sophomore. He's going to be so good. He hauled in a touchdown last week against the Titans of Stevenson.
He's got that crazy speed. When you put him into space like you did.
So Dakota has been taking care of business all season long. Their average margin of victory this year, 27 points. They opened up with a 21-point win over Fordson, 44-point win over LCN, 28-point victory over Anchor Bay, 15-point win last week on the road against Stevenson. Good to see Lanier up and walking it off.
Yeah, those cramps are tough. It just feels like every muscle in your body is just trying to twist itself off. And get him some fluids, and he'll be back in.
There's a look at the Rock'em Sock'em
Yeah,
robots.
I love the
back there
Rock'em
for all.
Sock'em robots. That brings back some memories, man. Wow. Well, that penalty, of course, since that penalty, you're talking some big games for the Cougars now. You're pushing the red zone here.
Jeremiah Aaron, they move the tight end over in motion. That's actually Hamby. Aaron takes the handoff, tries the right-hand side.
That's a 6-yard gain or so right off first down there. That's a good run there by the Cougars. And if they can get up, it'd be the first time tonight Dakota's been in the lead.
Under 2 minutes remaining here in this third quarter. Chippewa Valley's defense got them started with an interception. Gave them terrific starting field position to start. The Dakota 23. Took them 8 plays. They cashed it in, took a 7-0 lead. Dakota marched down the football field and stalled out on the goal line.
Oh, didn't snap the ball.
Bit of a break there that they didn't snap the football, because when it did come out, it came out wobbly.
Penalty against the Cougars.
So 4th trip now into the red zone for the Cougars, who did get on the scoreboard via 5-yard touchdown run rather by Brady Hamby. Dakota has also missed a field goal tonight. Ford. And
Oh.
no, he's going to keep it.
Looks like he's going to get the yardage back they lost on the penalty, maybe a couple more. I told you that was going to be open tonight with a lot of those misdirections where they're really kind of going that first read. He doesn't run very often, but now he's coming off the field.
Nice gain on the play. That's going to be a third down and 4 for the Cougars.
Who's getting the ball here?
So it'll be Hamby out of the Wildcat. Dakota will have to snap the football before the third quarter ends. Braden Henson into the football game. Goings is going to take the carry, and Goings is going to be just short.
Tackle by number 56.
Yeah, they're going for this.
Logan Kowalski.
Needed the 12, got it up to about the 13. And that will do it for the third quarter of play. No scoring in our third quarter. The score remains 7-7. Just 2 drives in that third quarter.
Both teams, Brad, are trying not to make the mistake that blows the game wide open right now because the margin of error is so small.
So Chippewa Valley goes the 30 yards, punts the football away, and Dakota chews up the remaining time of that third quarter. They've gone 80 yards so far, started all the way back on their own 7-yard line. Nice look at the drum corps as well as the Cougar Den tonight. Terrific crowd. You said they were a late arriving crowd. Well, guess what? They have come out in full support of these two rival schools.
You know, one thing the WJR guys mentioned to me down there was they've done 5 games this year, and this by far is the crowd environment has been the most electric, they said. So very impressive coming away. It's amazing what a great community event this is when both schools get together. I told them the numbers are kind of down. There's probably only about 2,500 to 3,000 people here. I said we're usually around 6, 7, 8, but they are an energetic group tonight.
I think we only got 3,000. I think
it looks about that from the if you're sitting downstairs looking out at everybody.
Following this Tiger team.
Oh, what a story! I mean,
4-1 after 7 innings of play. Tigers in front of the White Sox.
Win tonight, doesn't matter what the Twins do. The Tigers are in the playoffs for the first time in 11 years.
So 4th and 1, Dakota obviously going to keep their offense on the football field.
I don't know, I'd run Brady Hamby up under center and do a freeze play and watch Chippewa Valley jump, because you know they have to. I mean, you have to respect that. I'd be stunned if anyone else beside him gets the ball.
Now Coach Bauer is going to take a timeout. Wow.
These guys are frustrated.
So you had the quarter break to talk things over, and you brought the offense out onto the field, and they kind of kept throwing up their arms like they didn't know what the play call was. And I thought maybe that was a good acting job by Hamby to try to maybe get the defense to jump, right? We've seen so many pre-snap penalties. I thought, well, maybe this is just a way to try to confuse the defense. No, they were actually confused. They didn't know the play call. And Dakota's got to take a timeout here.
Well, and you don't want to end up being 1-4 in the red zone because, again, eventually it's going to bite you. So I think Coach Bauer, realizing the magnitude of this play, you got to chew up a timeout here. You don't want to, but you got to.
Well, you couldn't take a delay of game either.
No. You're kicking into that win now, and Dakota missed one going with the win. They're all stacked right over Hamby, too.
Hamby straight ahead,
Yeah.
all kinds of steam, and gets it to the 9-yard line. 4 yards on 4th down, moves the chains.
Boy, when you need it,
it's a 1st and goal to go.
when you need it, boy, that offensive line, they just bulldozed their way. And number 8 just fouled all those big bulls. And wow, look at all that beef on the line. You got Lindsey in there, coming in for playing defense. You got Torrey over there. You got Malone behind him. Oh, there's a jet sweep. There's the big fella.
Malone gonna coast into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown.
Yeah, we mentioned he hadn't touched the ball much tonight, but maybe the most important touch of this game with 11:30 to go gives Dakota their first lead of the game.
Took them 36 and a half minutes, but they finally have that lead. They do not have 673 points.
No, that's a little oversight on our scorekeeper here. Need to hit the delete button.
Because that would be some sort of record.
I think that would be a record, yeah.
We wait the extra point. The kick is up. The kick is good.
Most teams don't score that many points in a season.
And the score is now
674.
Dakota.
Oh, 7. There we go. We're working our way there.
So 14-7, our score after the Damari Malone touchdown.
Well, you know, the Big Reds have been kind of making the Cougars chase them all night. Now Dakota's put a little bit of pressure on Chippewa Valley. So the Big Reds are going to have to respond here. The problem is Jordan Alston, anytime he goes back to pass, he's running for his life.
93 yards, 16 plays for Dakota.
Well, and not only that, I think more importantly, they really grinded that defensive line down, and you got a couple of those guys that go both ways. How fresh are they going to be for offense? There you see Damari Malone scores the go-ahead touchdown. 11:30 to go. This game's been a barn burner.
Well, 14-7 our score, the lowest point total ever for Dakota Chippewa football game was back in 2004.
17-14. 14-10.
7-0 Dakota in the playoff.
Okay. Oh, the playoff, a regional game, yeah.
2004, 7-0 Dakota. You had a 14-10 game.
That was the year.
Back in 2003, Chippewa Valley won.
Yep.
And then in 2001, you had a 12-7 game.
That year, Chippewa Valley won the regular season contest, and Dakota got them the regional 7-0.
And that started the 15-game winning streak for Dakota. 7-0, your lowest rivalry score ever.
That ball bounced at the 1 and went literally sideways out of bounds for a penalty.
So this will be good starting field position now for the Big Reds, who are in desperate need of some sustained offense. They just haven't had it. As that last drive, the drive that started the second half of play, the 30 yards that they gained on that drive matched their total for the entire first half, Jeff.
Well, that's what this defense does. This defense just makes you work a lot harder than you want to, and this offense is going to have to maybe come up with a drive in the game here, because it seems like that Dakota Cougar offense, 93-yard drive for 7. Yeah, that was big time. So Big Reds here are going to have to answer.
Jordan Alston brings the Big Red offense out onto the football field. All of a sudden, they find themselves trailing in this game for the first time tonight. Will Jones-Terrell, the wide receiver at the top of the formation, drips to Alston right, and another penalty. And that one might be crowd-aided, as this Dakota side is making all kinds of noise.
They got 12.
Jog anybody off? They still got 12 out there. And now they'll jog somebody off. How's that happen, Jeff?
That's rough.
How does that happen on the first play of a drive?
Those are the things that just, you know, you're trying to get back in this game and you 12 guys to try out the field. Eisenhower up 28-0 on Stevenson at the half.
Oh. Yeah, Ike the real deal.
Rose Point South
on the driver's seat, the MAC Red.
Rose Point South beating Roseville.
South 2-0 in MAC white play. They're tied with Roseville, so that's pretty much a winner-go-home type game tonight. Alston going up in the air. Caleb Polk nearly trapped that football on the defender's helmet. We nearly had a David Tyree style play.
Yeah, that was a heck of a coverage job there by Buttleshees, but a heck of an effort by Fulks.
another look at it here on our CVC replays. We got a big red player down. Plenty of time for Alston to get this pass out, and even better coverage by Beetleshees.
This little motion on the backfield that turns into a wheel route, and he just tried to hit him up the sideline just to get a quick hitter play.
So next week we will be right back here at Dakota High School for the Cougar Bulldog matchup. The Romeo Bulldogs will come in for Dakota's homecoming.
And then the following week we got Anchor Bay Chippewa Valley, and of course also could be for the MAC Red title over here is Eisenhower at Dakota. We have quite a bit of action going on that week.
Dakota at Eisenhower.
Or at Eisenhower, my bad.
On October 11th. Because that was Jordan Alston that's being helped off the football field. He cramped up. So now Chippewa Valley already behind the 8 ball. Really going to have to go to work now. So Caleb Folks at the quarterback position. Donnie Eagle in at running back as Caleb Folks is going to try to stretch out that cramp. Second down, 15 to go. Dakota leads it 14-7. Folks in the shotgun. Going to keep it himself. Avoided the first tackler, couldn't avoid the second and third. Picked up a yard.
There's another player down
14
cramping.
to go.
Another player cramping.
That's a big offensive lineman. That's Chris Jackson, the 6 foot, 285-pound senior offensive lineman. Talked about Chippewa Valley's upcoming schedule as they tend to Mr. Jackson. Talked about homecoming next week against Romeo on the road to take on the Eisenhower Eagles on October 11th. And we'll go right back to Swinehart Field on October 18th for road contest against the Utica Chieftains before finishing the regular season on the road against Oxford. So a little bit of a kind of crazy wrinkle of the
Nice
Dakota schedule that the rest of the schedule is pretty much on the road.
Nice little coast to the finish line, too.
Yeah, there's not one easy game amongst those 4.
Well, Utica's a little down this year. Oxford's a little down.
Well, so is Utica.
But
Utica 1 and 3.
Eisenhower, that's not going to be an easy game.
No, that's going to be a battle.
You know, and don't forget, we mentioned it a couple times on the broadcast this year, is Ike really put it on them last year, which helped them sew up the MAC Red tie with Chippewa Valley. So, you know, that's a game obviously they'll be looking at. Obviously, you can't overlook Romeo. I know the Bulldogs are a little down from what we're used to seeing out of a normal Romeo team. They're battling Anchor Bay tonight. Haven't seen a score on that one yet. So, going to be an interesting finish here. There's 4 teams right now that aren't out of it.
Mentioned this Dakota defense only giving up 15 points this season. Eisenhower has given up 19. So the Eagles, in terms of defense, right behind Dakota. Now Dakota's going to take a timeout. They're second of the half, and that's going to get some groans from the home sidelines here. As the Cougars are down to just 1 timeout remaining in the second half.
Yeah, let's just clarify for our home people at home watching, I know all 19 of you, these are not TV timeout.
No, we don't want to take any of the blame here.
No. I am not getting on that train.
No, but now's probably a good time.
All right, yeah, fire it up, Brad, let's go.
To let you know that the broadcast of today's game is a copyrighted presentation of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and Chippewa Valley Cable Television. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution of the descriptions or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the MHSAA and Chippewa Valley Cable Television.
Don't look now, we got the Red Wings up 2-0 on the Blackhawks. In the bottom of the 8th, the Detroit Tigers 4, the Chicago White Sox 1.
Tigers restoring the roar of 24.
Alston back in.
Alston's going to fire for it and going to need a bit of a battle there for Lanier. Whoa, look at where they're going to spot this football. They're actually going to bring it back a yard from where he brought it in.
We got another player down.
Is that Alston again?
Cramping up.
Good to see Lanier back in play.
I have never seen so many players just go down cramping up. This is usually not the time of the year that happens. It usually happens in the beginning of the season when it's still hot outside. Gotta drink your fluids all day, everybody.
And 57 left to go in the fourth. Did Lanier step out of bounds on that far side? That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
he was at the 44 and he was trying to stretch out the football.
I mean, that's a 4th and 2, not even a 4th and 1. That's a 4th and 2 where that ball's spotted. You got the wind at your back. I mean, you don't necessarily have to go for it, but if you don't get this.
And that was Jordan Alston, by the way, that came up hobbling with that cramp. So he is going to go and he is actually going to lay down on that far sideline. So you're without your starting QB for this 4th down play. And now Chippewa Valley's going to quickly trot out their offense. Yeah, no hesitation here.
Dakota, you're probably saying watch the ball.
Caleb Fultz in at QB, hard count, trying to draw the Cougars offside. He didn't get it. Now do you take the time out and kick the football away? You're going to shift Donnie Deagle over to the right side. The defensive line shifts up front for the Cougars. They're going to go for it. Fultz on the ground, didn't get it. Cougars make the stop on 4th down and get the turnover on down.
Wow, that defensive line just blew that up. There was nowhere for Fultz to go, and boy, this could be just detrimental here to the Big Reds. If they drive this in and score with the way this game has gone, it's almost like being down 4 scores.
Turnover on downs. Damari Malone will get another look at it here.
Yeah, he came in, made the hit. Torrey was there too, and then the rest of the boys come in and clean it up. Malone was first, Torrey was second. That defense, that's been the strength of this team, Brad. Held a very talented Stevenson offense to 9 points last week. Right now, Chippewa Valley, since the first quarter, has yet to score.
For the 4th time in this football game, Dakota is going to start out in Chippewa Valley territory. Swing the pass out to Goings. Goings with some speed down this near sideline, brought down by Lanier, and Goings has some words now for Lanier.
No flag on that one. It's been quick to go on those, and no flag there.
17 yards on the pitch and catch. We'll get another look at it. Just a nice, simple throw to the outside. Goings did all the dirty work here, coming right into your television.
I think what helped too on that play was Jaden Ford kind of rode that run fake a little longer. That kind of helped open up Goings on the outside.
Camera operators tonight, Jeff Amakuchi, Matthew Custer, and Dominic Vitale. Terrific job out of 3 of them. Kid Adlum, Jim Calderon, and Joe Chappell in the live truck. I'm Brad Fetters, joined by Jeff Vitale. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's big rivalry game. Superintendent's Trophy on the line.
Oh, you're in the territory now. You're in the Brady Hamby show.
Fifth trip into the red zone, and they're going to call Hamby's number up to the 10-yard line. 7 yards on the ground, moves the chains, and creates a 1st and goal situation for the Cougars. Boy, oh boy, 2-score game. Seems like an insurmountable hill for the Big Red squad to climb.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a 1-score game, pretty much the entire game, and long distance of it being tied. But when you get into a 2-score game this late, with the way these defenses have been playing, boy, it makes it tough to come back from. There he goes.
Hamby again lowers the shoulder, fights forward, down to the 3.
That's the problem with this offensive line, how they just wear defensive lines out. This defensive line is tired. Look at the body language down there, the Big Red defense. They are worn out. and they are just getting it handed to them right now by the Cougars up front. And of course, they're trying to tackle number 8, which not many people can do here.
No sort of panic in this Cougar team. They fell behind early, 7-0. They threw an interception
on
the first drive of the game. Hamby reaches out. Touchdown, his second TD of the ball game.
He's a warrior. Look at him. I would love to find out what it's got to be like to be Brady Hamby waking up on a Saturday morning.
Seventh rushing touchdown of the season for Hamby. We wait the extra point from Aronowski. The snap is good. The hold is down. The kick is through. 21-7 our score. 9:09 left to go in the fourth. Took them just 5 plays to cover the 42-yard big play. 17 yards on first down. Capped off by that 3-yard touchdown scamper by Brady Hamby. As good as advertised, folks. Take another look here at this Brady Hamby touchdown, and he reaches out, breaks the plane, and then the football might have come loose. But breaking the plane was the most important part.
Well, here's kind of where we're at now. You get to the point now where your original game plan, if you're Chippewa Valley, is gone. I mean, you got to now get 2 scores in the final 9 minutes, which means you're going to air it out. You're going to try to fire the ball downfield. You're going to do a lot of things that you haven't done all game because you got to try to find a way to get back in this game. And now Dakota can just sit back and just wait and watch for you to make a mistake.
Well, and you got to hope, too, that Jordan Alston is healthy enough to return in this football game, because you just don't know if Caleb Folks has the capabilities of throwing, as that was a live ball on the kick return.
Oh, that's just a killer, Brad. That's just an absolute killer.
Enos Carter allowed that ball to drop inside the 10.
Aronowski hit that so high, and it just came down. It came down 3 yards short of the return. And boy, it just took a sharp hop on him, and he was not ready for it. And 3-yard line, the Big Reds will take over. You don't see that often on a kickoff.
Well, you want to just complicate matters even more. In order to get back in this football game, you got to drive 97 yards.
And you got to score twice, not once.
You got to do it in a hurry. Look at the Chippewa Valley cheering section. That's Folks. Folks in at quarterback.
I think that was Deagle, might have been on the handoff.
Looks like Jeremiah Brown.
Okay.
Hard be nice to have a spotter up here,
hard
wouldn't
to
it?
see down there, or at least someone up here who can see. Told you you're gonna have to carry it. Well, I understand why they're doing this, but here's the problem. It's not going to help because you're down 2 scores. Oh, boy.
Now a bad snap. Folks has got to get it out of the end zone, and I don't think he did.
Look at the one.
That would be a safety.
Well, the Cougars got the ball. The referee's signaling touchdown.
He sure is. And far line judge. And now the head referee says touchdown.
Wow. We had, with 11 minutes to go, Dakota goes up 14-7, and within 3 minutes, it's now about to be 28-7. As the wheels have just come off for the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. See, there's a snap. He's fumbling it around. He has control of the ball here. Ooh, looks like that hit right there. The ball came out. There it is, scrambling. It's hard to see who came up with the football there. That ball was loose. You can see it.
Half the team signaling for a safety. The other
Wow.
half, high snap, kick
Blocked.
is blocked.
27-7, just like that.
I was more concerned as we'll get another look at it. This is a terrific angle. Beetlesheath comes in. I think the ground might have caused that fumble.
Even that, he's a safety. Wow.
That look, the ground caused the fumble. Obviously unreviewable.
Yeah, we don't have it,
At this
obviously.
level.
Yeah. You got to kind of call it on the spot. And
Ground cannot cause a fumble. Perhaps his knee was even down in the end zone at that point.
just like that, we've gone from a one-score game to a three-score game. In the blink of an eye, Brad.
Second drive, or second play of that drive results in a fumble recovery in the end zone. Back-to-back second-half drives for the Cougars result in touchdowns, and then they get to score on the defensive side of things. Here is deep for the Big Reds. Boy, they could use a lift here via the special teams.
Hooch kick.
Dakota's going to look to avoid just that. Kick it short. Gabe Carrier, the up man for Chippewa Valley, who catches it. And just getting word that the Tigers have won. Clinched a wild card spot. I got a little bit of a rise out of the crowd here.
Playoff bound.
Who would have thunk it?
I mean, it's been 11 years since this team has been over 500. They're going to the playoffs. If they don't even get out of the wild card, I don't think anyone really cares.
No, this is just bonus baseball now.
I mean, they have been the Cinderella story of Major League Baseball in this second half of the season. Hey,
Got a receiver open. It's Jaden Brown, the tight end.
hey,
Jordan
Brett,
Alston
you want
back
to hear
in.
this score? Virginia Tech 21, Miami 14.
Wow. It's an upset ruling.
It's only the second quarter, but Virginia Tech has not gotten off to a good start. Where the Hurricanes
16
are.
yards on first down, and then they got an illegal man downfield.
Oh. Those plays just hurt Chippewa Valley. I mean, you get a great play call, it's wide open on the field, and it comes back, and now you're dealing with just a longer field. Those are mistakes you just can't overcome, especially now since the game's blown wide open. You know, Dakota's defense going to loosen up a little bit, keep everybody in front of you. You're up 27-7. But boy, this game has just gone sideways fast, hasn't it?
Said it. Blink of an eye. When you're at the very top of the formation, need to get him going. Alston in at quarterback, takes the snap, drops back, flush. Gonna go down, gonna get sacked, ball
Fumble.
came out, and the Cougars have it. Cougars have it. 15 and a half sacks coming into the game tonight, nearly 4 per game. Now 4 fumble recoveries on the season. Look at that. That is one happy camper. A little Rackster.
I mean, and there's not even a blitz here. This is just Dakota's front four doing what they do, putting pressure on the quarterback. Look at all the blue shirts in the backfield. Just 99, the first one in there. Ball comes out. Boom.
Big Red scored on their opening drive of this football game. Since then, punt, 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 halftime, punt, turnover on downs, fumble in the end zone for a touchdown, and another
Another fumble.
Now the Big Reds substituting players on and off.
Oh my gosh, they have 12 guys on the field again, and now coach got called timeout. Well, just considering where this game was to start the fourth quarter, I mean, it has literally been a scenario of the wheels coming off for the Big Reds. I mean, 14-7, everything was going pretty well, and then next thing you know, 27-7 in the blink of an eye, and just what happened. And now you got a fumble, you got 3 guys come out on the field. There's 12 guys on defense. You have to burn a timeout, and things have just gone sideways for the Big Reds, and Cougars just keeping their composure. And looks like they're going to try to put their foot on the throat here and try to make this 34-7.
For that knockout punch.
Going to take what little oxygen is left in that defense and try to squeeze it out, as the Cougar offensive line has really been dominant.
Ford brings Goings over in motion. They fake the throw to
Oh,
him.
wide
Ford
open.
looking deep, got a man wide open. Jack Aronowski, the senior, into the end zone for the Dakota touchdown.
Look at everyone running over to him too. That's what you kind of like to see. Oh, they flew to the RPO, the bubble, and Aronowski just kept going, and boy, was he wide open, and Jaden Ford put it on the money for a touchdown. There's the Hamby fake in the bubble. Everyone came up, and then bam, wide open. I mean, look how wide open he is. Sometimes those are the toughest catches, Brad.
Concentration levels got to go up. Aronowski's first touchdown reception of the season. Ford's 5th touchdown pass of the season, and now all of a sudden it is all Dakota all the time. 7:20 left to go in the 4th, and the home faithful feel comfortable enough, Jeff Vitale. They are starting to pack up and hit the exit.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, how this game was just, we said the margin of error was so small, and the next thing you know, you have a slew of errors, and look what the score is now. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. The Big Reds have played a great game for 3 quarters. This fourth quarter has just been a nightmare for Chippewa Valley.
Get one final look here at the touchdown reception for Jack Aronowski, and boy, oh boy, what a pocket for Jaden Ford. The big boy is up front, keeping his jersey clean. The ball right on the money for Jack Aronowski.
(34-7). It is hard to imagine that at the 11:30 mark, it was 14-7. And barely 4 minutes later, sorry, Brad, but barely 4 minutes later. So, all right.
You mentioned this is quite possibly going to be the 9th time Cougars have started out 5-0 in program history. Another short kick. So let's go through the previous 8 5-0 starts, shall we?
All right,
so
let's go for it.
1999, win the district championship, right?
Yep.
Started out that season 8-0, and then
10-2,
lost to Chippewa Valley. Yep. 2001, they started out 5-0, and then lost for their last.
Actually, I'm
5
going to correct
games.
you. The 1999 team lost to Clarkston they beat Chippewa in the district, lost to Clarkston in the regional
Right, but their
finals.
first regular season loss was
Chippewa,
Valley.
correct.
So 2001, they lose 4 of their final 5 games, 6-4, not
Yep.
a great season.
Nope.
2002, they start out 5-0. They start out actually 7-0. Lose to Chippewa Valley. They finish the season 11-2. They lose the state semifinals to Catholic Central 17-10. 2003, they start out 5-0 and lose their final 5 games of the season, including to Chippewa Valley. They finish that year 5-5. 2006, they go 8-1 in the regular season. Lone loss was to Ford.
Which was crazy because that team was probably an 80-point underdog going that game, but that was a state title.
They go on to beat Rockford 38-16 in the state championship. The following season, 2007,
Didn't lose at all.
they go 14-0, win the state championship over Livonia Stevenson. 2013, they run through everybody in the regular season and lose to Cass Tech in the regional championship.
Right here.
And then 2022, run through everybody and lose to Cass Tech in the regional championship. So Gabe Carrier up on 2 feet. First year head coach Terry Wilson. Terry going to come off the football field.
Very crazy just how this game has just gone in this fourth quarter. It has been a strange fourth quarter, especially after the way the first 3 quarters have shaped up.
Press coverage on the outside. Now Dakota backs up.
Sanders is offsides.
Flags on the field.
Heel and ear have gone at it all game.
Penalty against the Cougars.
Coach Bauer's still upset. He won't relax until for the next 7 minutes and 23 seconds. Then he'll take a deep breath. When you're a head coach, that clock seems to tick really slow sometimes.
Alston in the shotgun. Takes a low snap. Hands it to Folks. Folks tries the left edge. Be just short.
That was a nice 4-yard run.
Tackle by number 1, Elijah Goins.
Second down, 1 to go. No, these aren't often the easiest games for us to call because we're so accustomed cheering for both of these teams from inside the press box. So when they hook up, and they got to throw everything out, just kind of call it right down the middle.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You know, I got players that play on both teams, and it's also this game's been especially tough as a middle school coach for me over the years. But try to sit back and enjoy this game, and boy, he just has no one to throw to. Look at the
Alston improvises, gets it to his safety valve, Folks, down to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, nice job there by Jordan Alston. Keep the play going with his feet. Kept his eyes downfield and hit his safety valve for a nice gain and keep the Big Red drive alive.
Alston's first stab at this rivalry game. He comes over from St. Clair Shores, Lakeshore.
Yeah, I'm sure he hasn't seen anything quite like this over at Lakeshore. I know the Lakeview-Lakeshore rivalry is, but let's be honest, no offense to both those fine schools, but it's not Chippewa Valley, Dakota. I don't even know if Stevenson-Eisenhower anymore is like Chippewa Valley, Dakota, to be honest with you.
Alston, a fire to the outside. That was a long pass all the way out to the numbers.
Yeah, he's trying to the problem is he's got his hips. He can't get his hips around because he's under pressure, so he can't really step into it and throw it. So he's not getting everything he can on that football. The tough throw. You can see how far he got it, though, and it shows you he's got a strong arm.
Eric Thomas, his intended wide receiver, stops the clock with 5:50 left to go in the fourth.
$2 pretzels. I'm out of here. See you later.
All right, Jeff. It's been a pleasure.
Brad, you got this last final 550. I got to race some of these kids down to get a pretzel.
Dakota shows blitz. They bring it. Pass outside to Eric Thomas Jr.
That's a fine open field tackle, I think by Bages. Oh, Dom Van Vliet.
See, I was thinking of
former Panther.
I thought it was Logan Kreitzer. That was a linebacker, Kreitzer. Trust the PA announcer.
No offense to Dom, but he is not the size of Logan Kreitzer.
No.
That was 20, not 50. Made a very nice play from a safety position.
Left. Alston changing his protection. Alston with time, flushed out now. Rolls to his right.
How'd he catch that?
Pays the price, as does Folks. Folks brings in the pass. He's tackled at the 16, gonna be just short, needed the 15 as the line to gain. Now we got a Cougar player down. Never like to see this.
Oh, especially late in the game, where for the most part it looks like it's been decided. Hard to tell who that is. Oh, is that Bages? Looks like the second number was a 4. Coach Bauer, for a small guy, is taking up a lot of space right now. We can't really see.
Covering up the number.
I know she's coming in, so it's definitely a secondary player. Yeah, it is.
Jacob Bages. Terrific lacrosse player.
Just a heck of an athlete. And he's had a few big hits tonight. Big hits.
Kind of holding his abdomen.
Yeah, he might got a helmet in the stomach. There's a lot of things happen sometimes in those plays. What we haven't talked about here, it's 4th and 1 for the Big Reds, Brad.
4th and 1 with 4:31 left to go in regulation. Gonna wind that clock down.
Try to go up the middle here with Folks. Running the ball on 4th down has not worked out well for the Big Reds tonight. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Dakota was bringing the pressure. One of the offensive linemen fell backwards.
That 4th and 1 now becomes a tough 4th and 6. Oh boy. How about this one? My old buddy Rob Zeitman, Chippewa Valley coach in 06. His Jenison Wildcats defeat Rockford 15-14. Kind of had them on my little ticker follower there, and they popped up as a W. And
can't give you a Notre Dame prep score for tonight because they play tomorrow.
That's where you're going to be.
Detroit Country Day. Dakota shows blitz again. Folks picks it up. And Jordan Alston just couldn't stay on his feet. Another sack for this Cougar defense.
Eyes are now in the 4th quarter of 42-7 on Stevenson. I don't think that quarterback being hurt, boy, are they a different team, huh?
Knocking Knight out of that ball game last week.
No Anchor Bay Romeo score in here anywhere.
At their own 29-yard line.
That Birmingham Groves Harper Woods game was supposed to be a good one tonight.
Clarkston beating West Bloomfield. Boy, they gone south since the Chippewa Valley game, huh?
Groves winning 21-6 over Harper Woods. Is that what it is?
Yep. 21-10, Clarkston over West Bloomfield.
Chippewa Valley going to take a timeout. Make sure they're lined up correctly.
How about this?
Defense.
Lake Orion, 28-25 over Rochester Adams.
Wow.
The Dragons getting it done.
Dakota avoided an upset here on their home turf. Taking care of business in the second half. 27 unanswered points here in the second half. They've blown this football game wide open.
It's the closest 34-7 game you're ever going to see. Now it's just all about grinding clock. Emptying the bench here for the Cougars.
Brock Ferguson in at quarterback. Tell me that's not a quarterback's name.
You gotta be tough if your name's Brock.
Braden Henson
Number 29, Braden Henson on the carry.
getting the carry.
Knocked down by number 33.
Both teams kind of have submitted the victory and going to play a lot of their seconds here and get some experience. And now the Big Reds, you know, with Romeo coming up, not Romeo, I'm sorry, Anchor Bay coming up, as well as Eisenhower. They had a tough road to finish at 1-3 right now, 1-4.
1-4, 1-3 in MAC Red play.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough finish here for the Big Reds. Oh, look at that cut.
And a spin move there by Braden Henson. Yeah, home games the next 2 weeks for Chippewa Valley. Eisenhower in the homecoming game against Anchor Bay.
And that Eisenhower team looks like, I mean, they're everything is advertised. Yeah. I mean, they're looking really good.
This is a brutal 2-game stretch for the Big Reds. Get Dakota and then Eisenhower, the 2 teams at the top of the MAC Red.
You know, where the Cougars are going to face the Bulldogs, which this should be a game they should win. And then, of course, the big showdown, which possibly for the MAC Red Championship.
Taking the sweep, Landon Mitchelson pushed out of bounds. The clock running, however.
Ran about 42 yards to gain 2 there.
Good hard run.
He ran a long way to get much of nothing. I mean, that was technically a 44-yard run if he had the 2 he gained.
So Dakota proves to 5-0, perfect 3-0 in MAC Red play. Setting up that collision course October 11th, and we had the pleasure of attending a preseason practice, and every single captain that I interviewed in that preseason practice, when I asked them, and I asked them on camera, Jeff, so they couldn't shy away from the question.
Correct.
I said, what's the game you're most looking forward to playing and why? And to a captain, they said the Eisenhower game.
Yeah. I mean, you know, obviously this one comes first, and this is a big one, but that Eisenhower game last year, 31-0, really sticks in their craw, and that's one that they won. They wanted this one too. I think they kind of came out really taking CB for granted. And let's give the Big Reds credit. For 3 quarters, this was a heck of a football game. And then all of a sudden, maybe the strangest 4th quarter I've seen in a long time. So it was a heck of a football game for 3 quarters, and then it just kind of went south in a hurry.
This is just kind of an old school Dakota team. And that's kind of the MO for Bauer-led teams, right? Just keep the ball on the ground, just feature bell cow in the backfield, which is Brady Hamby. You're not going to throw for a ton of yards, but you're going to keep that clock moving, and you got one heck of a defense on your sidelines.
Yeah, it's an outstanding defense, and that's where the matchup with Ike becomes interesting, because you're talking about by far 2 of the best defenses in the area.
So for the 4th straight week, Dakota holds a team to single digits.
Yeah, they defense again outstanding, and you know, the offense through some gifts of turnovers just turned this game from a 1-score game into just a rout. We will await the presentation of the Superintendent's Trophy as it goes now from the hands of the Big Reds over to the trophy case of the Dakota Cougars.
There's a look at our Superintendent, Ron Roberts. He's going to make that presentation.
He's got his phone probably to take a picture. He's always getting one for the Twitter. I just can't call it X, so we're going to call it Twitter. So always ready to tweet something something of significance out that's happening in the district. Of course, we're getting up that time of year where the Ron Roberts snow day prayers that will be coming, where 14,000 students flood his Twitter asking him to call off school on a 47-degree day with not an ounce of snow on the ground. Cougars are a little excited. They're dancing the trophy. It's like, hey, a little early for the trophy there, fellas. They want that trophy bad. Big Reds will head over to their side where they traditionally will sing their fight song, win or lose. That's a tradition that goes back, Brad, to when I played. So it's an old tradition.
34 unanswered Dakota points.
That's just the way this game went. That's hard to imagine. The Big Reds had everything going with the way they wanted to for 3 quarters, and there they go. That's something they want. They got the trophy back. 2 losses last year to Chippewa Valley, and there's a good chance, because remember we always say, well, they'll always be in the playoffs. A good chance that's probably not going to happen this year when the Big Reds beat at 1-4.
Yeah, it's looking like Chippewa is going to miss the playoffs for the first time since 2011, as they fall to 1-4, 0-3 in MAC Red plays. There is a look of a team that could potentially be the real deal as Dakota improves to 5-0, 3-0 in MAC Red play. Chippewa Valley got on the scoreboard first, led it 7-0, and then from there, that Cougar defense stepped up big and pretty much blanked the Big Reds the rest of the way. Cougars take it by the final score of 34-7.
We talk about the touchdown that happened, Brad, where going to 14-7, the kickoff bounces in front of the returner, goes all the way down to 3. On the ensuing play, the Big Reds fumble in the end zone. The Cougars jump on it, which maybe looked like it was caused by the ground, but again, you only get one shot at it. The referees decide to call it a live ball. 21-7, just like that. And then the Big Reds fumble again. Great position for the Cougars. They take it in and score 20. It just became an avalanche.
It is going to be one heck of a happy locker room as the Cougars make their way directly below us with that superintendent's trophy. What an effort here tonight by Dakota. I'd like to give one final shout out to our hard-working Chippewa Valley cable television crew. Terrific job by all involved. Jeff Amakuchi filling in tonight, working that camera on the sidelines. He's up on the scaffolding. Dominic Vitale, Matthew Custer up top working the cameras. Got Kim Adlam working graphics. Joe Chapo, technical director. And of course, Jim Calderon directing the whole show. Jeff, another rivalry game in the books goes the way of the Dakota Cougars. One heck of a ball game by that defense.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of just see it week after week. They're everything as advertised, and this next week is a game. Again, they should be able to handle the Bulldogs. Bulldogs are a little bit down. Obviously, you never count on a MAC Red opponent, but the one thing you cannot do is look ahead to that following week with Eisenhower. They'll be there. And I know that's a game they want really bad, so you got to play them as they come, and that's kind of the old cliche, but really nowadays it falls as it is, Brad.
Dakota improves on the all-time series with Chippewa Valley, 24 wins to 15. As they improve their overall record to 5-0, 3-0 in MAC Red play. Chippewa Valley falls to 1-4 and 0-3. For my broadcast partner, I'm Jeff Vitale, I'm Brad Fetter, saying so long one final time from Dakota High School. Once again, your final score, the Dakota Cougars 34, the Chippewa Valley Big Reds 7. Thank you so much for watching this Chippewa Valley cable television production. We'll see you next week, right back here at Dakota for that game, your homecoming game against the Bulldogs. So long until then.